guys, it's Amelia, and thank you for watching today. Please don't forget to subscribe to my email list if you want to get free awesome emails about dressage, and also check us out on Patreon. It's a great way to just support these videos so that I can keep making them and helping you guys out. Today's topic is about judging. So this is a little bit controversial, and I think that judging is one of the hardest things about the sport of dressage. So comment below and let me know if you've ever felt that the judging was unfair. Honestly, I know that I've felt that way, and it's not really a healthy thing to dwell on feeling that judging is unfair or that you've been misjudged. So I think it's hard sometimes because we never talk to the judges. We don't really see their side of it. So I was really excited. I don't know if you guys get the Chronicle of the Horse. So in this latest issue, they had an article about judging, and they interviewed 3 judges, and each of the judges kind of wrote about their perspective. The first judge is Axel Steiner, who is a well-known, respected judge. And what he says is this: it all boils down to, quote, "There's no such thing as a tough judge. There are only judges who judge to a standard." So I think that's a really great point, which is that judges are trying to judge to a certain standard, which is hard because every rider and every horse and every situation is so different. But they're trying to make that, you know, a 7 is a 7. It doesn't matter the situation. It doesn't matter what's happening. So they're judging to a certain standard, certain rules, certain expectations that they have. It's not personal. It's not whether they like your horse or not, or whether they like you or not. There's certain standards that they use to come up with their scores. And Axel makes the point with standards that the standard has to be the same. There can't be a different standard for amateurs. There can't be a different standard for Morgan horses. There can't be a different standard for ponies. It just has to be a standard's a standard, and that the score is based on that standard. So I think that's important, that, you know, when you get your test back, that you don't take it personally. It's just a standard. It's just what they've been taught to judge to. Another thing that Axel really points out is that he likes panel judging. So panel judging is more like what they have at the CDIs or at the championships, where you have more than one judge judging the same test. And I think this is really good because it takes a little bit of that deviation out, and it makes the standard more obvious. The second judge that they interviewed is Ayres. And Jane's point is that, quote, "Giving honest feedback is part of what a trained professional does," which I think this is so true in dressage and just in life in general. And it's kind of like the American way, you know, we are so kind of jaded that we don't accept criticism, and that we feel like if any time someone's critical of us, that it's not okay. So I think part of what the judge is trying to do is they're trying to help you improve, right? It's not just about you going in there and them giving you 8, 9, looks good, great. You know, it's about the judge expects that when you go into the show ring, you want to be told what to do to make the movement better. So not necessarily what you're doing right, but what you could do to get that next point up, to get that next half point up. So I think that's really important. Again, is don't take it personally if you get a bad score, or if you feel like the judge is being critical. They're trying to help you. They're not trying to just put you down or make you feel bad. So that's really important. And it's interesting to read this article from the judge's perspective, which is they want to help you, and they can only help you by telling you what you need to make better, not just by telling you, oh, nice braids, cute horse. That's not really very helpful. The other really interesting point that Ayres makes is that the scribe, so the scribe's the person that sits next to the judge and writes down the comment. And the scribe can only write so much. So, let's say you're riding a 20-meter circle and you get a 7 on it. the scribe doesn't have time to say, you know, nice trot, good geometry, unsteady head. The only thing that the scribe has time to write down is one of those. So it's more beneficial to the rider if the scribe writes down, you know, unsteady contact, so that the rider can understand that they got a 7 because the contact was unsteady. And that's why they got a 7 as opposed to a 10. So, you know, that's something that I didn't really consider before reading this article, but, you know, the judge can't write positive and negative for every movement. So sometimes all they write is like what we as riders think as negative, but that's actually what's going to help us get better, is if we get that little, like, not that it's negative, but it's what you need to make better to get the higher score. So that was a really great point that she made. The third judge that they interviewed is Natalie Lamping. These are all well-known judges. So her quote, again, all these judges are very similar, which is that, quote, you want to be as truthful and as real as you can so that you can be happy with yourself when you go to bed at night. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be cruel. If there's any way that you can be encouraging, then you should. So I think that that's a great way of putting it, which is like, you want to be truthful and fair as a judge. And gosh, I can only imagine that's got to be so hard. To be sitting at the judge's booth and trying to be, you know, on top of it for the whole day, be objective, be truthful, not have any biases, especially if maybe you know the person or you know the horse. That's got to be just really a challenge. So my hat's off to the judges. You guys are amazing to sit there and watch us ride all day long. So Natalie's funny too. She writes, why is it in dressage a lot of people don't want to hear the truth? I know if I can't sing or play guitar, and if someone tells me that, I don't get offended because I know I can't. So I think that's true. You have to go into the show ring with an open mind, and like I said earlier, be ready to accept that criticism and learn from it and know that it's just the truth. And yeah, sometimes the truth hurts, but you know, the judge isn't trying to hurt you. They're just trying to help you improve. So comment below. Let me know if these thoughts help you guys. You know, it's important it was a great article just to get to see the judge's perspective of things, because, you know, as competitors and as riders, we're always talking to other competitors and other riders. And it's important to realize that the judge is trying to do the best that they can do and trying to help us. You know, even if you get a bad score, even if you feel like it was unfair, I always try to read the test, read the directives, read the purpose of each movement. The directives are super important, that if you understand the purpose and the directives, you can do a lot to improve your score. So I hope this helps you guys, and let's get out there and show and learn.